Yeah, great to have you here. It's awesome that you joined.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool. So
We
we're
can
just going to
learn.
we'll kick off in a couple of minutes. I'm just going to see if a couple more people join.
Beautiful.
But we are recording, so this will be sent to you as well.
Oh,
But
perfect.
while you're here and you're early, which is great. Well, you're on time. Um, and everyone else is not on time, but that's okay. Well, I'd love to know what would you like to take away from this webinar today?
Well, because I'm being a bit more hands-on when it comes to our marketing and our website design and like how we want to move the company a bit more back online. I'm just wanting to learn and absorb as much as I possibly can. So I haven't got any background in marketing, but I got a little bit of a skill set as I've had my own little online drip for ages ago and always been hands-on with the company as they grow with my last job as well. So yeah, I just want to continue to learn. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, fantastic. So
Yeah.
continuing to learn as the company evolves, how can I
Yeah.
learn some of you didn't say this specifically, but some of the principles of marketing, like how can you learn quite quickly so
Yeah.
you can get some results. You may see in the very, very small tabs at the top of the screen, there is probably a familiar looking logo to you. It's the Taking Care Mobile Massage logo. It's one of the tabs. So it is
Yeah.
actually a bit of an example and a case study as part of this webinar. So it should be
Oh,
quite relevant for
beautiful.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect for me.
Cool. Hi, Linda. Great to see you here. I was just doing a little quick intro and hello to those people that are on time and early. I'd love to know from you, Linda, either by way of chat or feel free to unmute. Like, what would you like to learn from today? Like, what are you here for? What would make it amazing?
One of my things with or kind of things to do over the years, so I mean, is to kind of just freshen up the messaging and just reflect where Homely Lass is now. And then
Mm-hmm.
your email came through for this session. I'm like, it's perfect,
Mind
perfect
reading.
timing.
Yeah, that's it. Freshening up the messaging. That sounds good. And for Nicole, it was about learning some of the principles quickly, learning some
That's it.
marketing principles. Yeah, cool. I'll see if I can weave those things into today. They
Thank you.
already are woven into today, but we'll just make them a bit more relevant, specifically to you as well, to both
Perfect.
of you. And James, if you're there, feel free by way of chat. What would you like to learn from today? And as well, Abia, I think it's you from marketing at WareQuip. If you can either unmute and say what you would like to learn from today or use the chat, feel free to chuck in what would you like to take away from today, and I'll see how I can tailor what we're working on to help you achieve those goals. I'll just wait a brief moment until it's 5 past, and then we'll jump in. Just probably a few seconds away. And I'm impatient, so we'll start. All right, good. So today we're talking about how to nail your website messaging. And I would like to be demonstrating the best use of nailing messaging by getting you onto this call, because you wouldn't be here if this headline didn't resonate with you in some way. If the pitch didn't, you weren't aligned with and say, oh, this could be valuable to me. Even though it's a free webinar, free is not often free because you have to invest your time. And there are only a certain amount of units of time that are available for you to invest in order to get a particular result. So just the sheer fact that you've invested time in means that this is something, this messaging that we put together just to get you here has resonated with you in some way. So I would like to be a good example of what we're teaching. All right, so this is going to be part slides. It's not all going to be slides. There's a ton of tabs that you can see at the top there. I'm going to be going through some live examples and some resources to help you improve and nail your website messaging, things that we can do together on this call, and then things that you'll be able to explore and use and get even better results after the call to refine your messaging and know if it's working. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right. So you're welcome to use the chat. And actually, I see that it's a light and there's some chat. I think it's Abia who's on the call from WareCup, just trying to find a quieter spot. All good. Wanting to improve SEO writing skills to apply throughout the website. Awesome. Awesome. SEO is definitely a very, very hot topic, especially with AI, multi-channel marketing. social media algorithms, making it so it's very hard to appear organically for anything at all. So social media, SEO has been brought back into the limelight in many ways. So we'll see how we can adjust things to suit what you mentioned there. All right. So your website, it can be your best salesperson, but you have to do it really well. It's a scalable way to take your offer, to take your message, and to show it to lots and lots of people. The fact that it doesn't sleep is fantastic, because you can have lots of people looking in all the time. It doesn't get tired. It's showing that message at scale. You can use ads to amplify that. People can stumble across it. There are so many ways you can scale your message. But the thing is, you need to have a good message to scale. That's the problem. A lot of people want more traffic to their website. They get more traffic, and then they still don't get any leads and sales because they have poor messaging. So I'm going to show you some examples where we have absolutely no design at all, and we generated tens of thousands of dollars just with messaging on a Google document. And just as I move on, if anyone is unmuted at the moment, if you could just mute yourself just for a little bit, that would be awesome. Which is a little bit of background noise, which is cool, but we'll do the unmuting a little bit later. All right. So cool. So if you have poor messaging, it gets ignored. It's a very, very noisy world. You walk along, there's billboards, there's signage. If you look at your phone, it's just insane. Like there's just messaging everywhere. People are trying to cut through the noise. AI has made things even worse because it's easier than ever to create useless, meaningless messaging at scale. Lots of people are doing it, and it's not landing. So how do you cut through the noise? That is the challenge that businesses face. Unfortunately, when you do have poor messaging, you're missing out on leads and sales. When you do finally get someone to your website, to your message, to your offer, and it isn't compelling and it isn't clear, the confused mind says no and they leave, and they potentially go to your competitor. Unfortunately, it's not just about who has the best product. I wish in some way it was all a meritocracy and we were all graded on how good we were at what we do. But unfortunately, it's more about how well are you at communicating what you do and making it compelling. So the opportunity here is, with great messaging, you can scale your offers. As I said before, you can have a message and you can reach anyone on the entire world. It's amazing, like through your website, through ads, through social media. It's absolutely incredible. You can reach people on your own email list without spending any money on ads. So if you can nail messaging, you can sell. And when you can sell to anyone, then you can really thrive in any market. If SEO is not working, you can pivot to email. If a particular offer isn't working and you know how to craft your messaging, you can try a new offer. You can tailor it to the current market. It's a very, very powerful skill, and it's easier than you think. You don't need to be someone who has a journalist degree. In some way, actually, I think would probably hinder you. No offense to anyone here who has one, but clarity is key, and hopefully that's a theme that shines throughout this webinar today. So a couple of case studies about proof that this works. As I said before, you may not need the most amazing design. Design helps a ton. I would say it's like 50% of the equation, because people are judgmental incredibly fast. They see something, they judge it. There's no cognitive thinking. It's very, very fast. We conserve a lot of calories by judging things on face value. But to show the power of words, one of our clients, Dave Jennings from Systemology, we helped him launch a course, and it just through a Google document and some emails. So no fancy imaging or anything like that. If I could scroll further down on this image, it would just have a payment link, and that's all. People would buy through Stripe. So we were able to generate over $38,000 in 48 hours. It was their best-selling course of all time, and it was just a Google Doc and some emails. So literally just messaging. We specifically wanted to not go down the website fancy landing page path, because we're just trying to validate if something would work. Now Dave goes on to sell this particular course over and over and over again, because he's done it once with a launch. Another case study, I was contracted to work with Envato, which is a large design. They sold a lot of WordPress themes. That was a core part of their business before I started working with them. They have over 200 staff. Their office is in Melbourne on King Street, I think it's still there. So I was contracted to work with them as part of a small team of 14 to explore and validate a new offer that they had called Envato Elements. So they hadn't really started with this. They had a bit of an idea that subscription-based downloads, unlimited subscription-based downloads, is the new way to go. They had one-off purchases. That was the majority of their revenue. They wanted to move to subscription. So what we did is we worked on some various different messaging frameworks and testing, and we used paid ads, so Facebook ads, in order to test different headlines that just went to a blank landing page to, with an opt-in that says, sign up if you'd like to be notified. And we rapidly were able to test messaging for as little as $200 a week to test different messaging, to see what landed, to see what got clicks, and to see what got signups. And the result of that I would like to take a tiny little bit of credit for, that I was part of a team, very, very smart team. They've pivoted their business model to lead with this now. So multi-million-dollar company changing their business model based on messaging and how this is landing. So it is powerful, and you can do it in a very lean way. Cool. You may know I'm Simon Kelly. I've met all of you, so no real introduction, but I'm the CEO and head of growth at SGD. I've worked on strategies, specifically digital marketing strategies, RSL Victoria, Envato, Quilla, Agency Mavericks, where I was coaching other agencies, Systemology, and CyberCX, which is Australia's largest cybersecurity company. This is our team. Many of you have met them. They're awesome. I can say many, many good things about them, but I will just focus on myself, really. So what we're going to cover today is overall web page structure. What works? Like, why do we put things in certain orders? Just give me the simple framework that is going to work so I know the buckets where to put things. So we're going to start with that. Then we're going to go a bit more specific. We're going to get into compelling headlines. Then we're going to look at one of the most important things when it comes to writing copy is features versus benefits, and a simple change in wording that can help you focus on benefits. And then I'm going to go into some proven frameworks so you can go off and explore and use those things. And depending on how we go for time, we'll go through some pro tips and resources. We're definitely going to share one resource that I've been testing quite a lot lately that is awesome. Cool. All right. Before I dive in, any burning questions, anything that come up, please in the chat. All looking good. Thumbs up. Let's go. Awesome. Thank you. Cool. All right. Web page structure. Is there a particular way to structure a website? Why do some pages work and other pages don't? There is a particular way to structure a web page, just like in magazines and on newspapers and on news stories. There is a headline that captures your attention. You are then drawn in with some level of interest in order to suck you in to actually engage with the content. If your content, if your web page isn't anything really, newspaper articles, if it's not able to capture your attention and then engage you with interest, nothing else matters. All of the words that you say don't matter. If you're telling your story, if you've got your offer, it doesn't matter if you can't get their attention at the beginning. So rather than me just talking about this and waving my hands around, I'm going to show you a structure. There is a book called Build a Story Brand. Donald Miller, fantastic author. Rather than, like, I would recommend reading the book, but rather than reading the book, I'm going to give you the short version and the key takeaways from the book. Building a Story Brand, Marketing Made Simple, and Business Made Simple. We're going to get the accelerated course right here in a couple of minutes. So I'm going to share with you the structure of an ideal website. Now, this applies to product-based websites. It applies to service-based websites. Any kind of website where you are looking to sell something, capture someone's attention, and get them to take an action. So we have here to begin with, this is a e-bike store. There is a headline that captures attention. Now there's a caveat for SEO, but I've noted that I will cover SEO in some space throughout this, but we just want to focus on capturing attention. This is speaking to an ideal end result of the target audience. Be the leader of the pack. They could say, we sell e-bikes that are really good. They could have said that, but it's not going to really convince the potential customer to take action and speak to a desired end result. So a key part of your messaging is knowing who your audience is. knowing who they are if you have multiple audiences. By way of chat, do you have a customer persona? Do you know who your target audience is and what's important to them? Just let me know like Y or no, Y or N in the chat. Yes, we know who our target audience are, or no, not so sure. Let me know. Nicole, yes. Linda, yes. Ray, yes. Abia, yes. Awesome. That's fantastic. Do you know what they want? Like, you know what's important to them, and do you know what their frustrations are? So we just go wants and frustrations. Do you feel quite clear about that? So either yes or no. You could do a number out of 10. If you're like, 5 out of 10 clear on what their wants and frustrations are. So let me know in the chat. 9. Awesome. That is fantastic. 7. All right, Linda. Getting a bit clear on that would be good. 9 for Nicole. Fantastic. The clearer you are, and Ray? Great. 9. Amazing. I'm going to quiz you on that one. No, not right now. Knowing who your target audience is, that's fantastic that you already know, because there's a separate part to this talk, which is identifying exactly what it is you're targeting. Thankfully, I'm not going to get super clear on that. That might be something we can work on another time. Perhaps, Linda, if you're interested. So knowing who they are, knowing what their wants and frustrations are absolutely key. As I said in the example here, be the leader of the pack. It's about your customer. It's about what they want. So many businesses, this is an absolute very common mistake with big businesses, small businesses, medium businesses, is they talk about themselves and how good they are. But your customer does not care. They want to know they can trust you. That's important, and that will come up shortly. But what's in it for me? That's what they're thinking. They were trying to really ignore the messaging because it's just coming at them from all angles. So you can capture their attention by talking about them. They are the hero. What's in it for them? In this example, be the leader of the pack, speaking to a desired end result of the person on the bike. Cool. So knowing who your target audience is and speaking the language that is important to them is a key principle of copywriting and of sales copywriting. All your messaging, focus on your customer as the hero. The entire brand story book that I mentioned to you before, the whole premise of that is your customer is the hero, not your business. You're not coming in to save them. You're not the one who's the hero who's triumphant. They're the one who you want to take from not being the leader of the pack to the leader of the pack through your products and services. Cool. Headline, very important, captures attention. Now get on a revolutionary new bike. Insane that they were able to convey quite a lot in a short amount of words, which is awesome. I'll zoom in just a little bit. So it's being very, very clear. One part here is bike. The word bike. It's just saying exactly what it is. No need to be clever or anything like that. The word bike is there. We sell bikes is essentially what's going on there. A revolutionary, there's a bit of interest going on there. Like what makes it revolutionary? I'm not sure. Get on a revolutionary new bike. Awesome. Very clear. There's a bike. There's something revolutionary about it. I'm interested in some way. And then a very clear call to action. Find a dealer. Clearly, I cannot buy this online through here. I need to find some kind of dealer. It's available for purchase. Awesome. This is what's called above the fold, which is like from newspaper and magazine and book days, where there's like a fold in a brochure. And the words above the fold are the most important because they're what people see without having to take any action, without having to unfold, without having to turn the page. On a website, on mobile, it's a very similar thing. Can you get attention? Can you convey clearly what is in it for them before they scroll, before they swipe, before they get distracted by whatever it is that they're doing, which is probably a lot. So the most important part of your website is this part. Now we're getting down to the benefits. So you could talk about features here. They could have said, so what is a bike? Alloy handlebars. And then they could have said a spinning wheel and Shimano brakes. They could have said that, but those are features. Like, sure, that's the product, that's the details. But here, much more compelling, save the environment, save money, save time. Now that's that's much more exciting. That's much more compelling than the bits of the bike. So it's got my attention and it's got my interest. Cool. All right. If you can't get this part right, the rest of it doesn't matter too much. And when I say get it right, I don't want you to be kind of stuck in analysis by paralysis. Test things and try to and see what works and refine over time. Iteration is much better than getting it perfect and leaving it and being like, oh, we're done. That's it. Iteration through conversations. So getting this part right means they'll scroll. So I'm just going to fly through some of the other parts of the website. So we've got above the fold, and now we're coming into what's called the problem. Life is too short to sit in traffic. Traffic is no fun. Don't be held back. You were designed for more. Awesome. So the problem is you get sit in traffic and your life is wasting away. So they know their audience and that's what they're thinking. So we want to align with what they're thinking. So coming down. So now we're speaking to the desired end result again. Save time and take back control of your life with a circuit e-bike. Now we're introducing the solution to the problem. 3 major benefits: avoid parking hassles, save money on gas, arrive on time. Awesome. So these are benefits. Again, these are end results. They're not the features of the thing. And now we've got some trust signals. 20,000 happy riders. Awesome. All right, you're not a brand new business. You've done this before. Great. Now we've got the actual products. And now a very key part that a lot of businesses miss, especially if you're a service-based business, but this also, as you can see, works with product-based business. A very simple version of how it works. Like, what's the next step? So get fitted. That is the first step. Choose a bike, lead the pack, end result. Okay. So I'm going to show you an example from one of our clients. I'll go to Cyber CX. So one of their core services is penetration testing. This is one of the main things that their business does. It is probably the easiest for them to sell, and it expands onto the majority of their other services. So we started with this page. Benefits, as you can see, I'm just going to come down to the framework. So as hard as I tried to get them to stick to a 3-step framework, we weren't able to. That's okay. So we're still having the next steps. So how does it begin? It starts with reconnaissance, and then we do prioritization and planning, then we do some exploitation, and then remediation. So this is slightly longer language, but it suits their audience, their cybersecurity officers. And then I'm going to go to another site. So this is a good friend of mine, Trent Dolman. So we redid his messaging, and as you can see on the bottom, he's got 55 5-star reviews. So it's really increased the amount of patients that have come into his business. I'm going to probably, I think on every page we've got this. So we've got clear messaging at the top, call to action. Come down here, 3 key benefits: reduce pain, recover from stress, increase performance. And then I believe we have the 3-step framework here. Improve balance, achieve weight goals, feel more awesome. I believe if I just pick one of these, we'll try acupuncture. We should have something similar. Clears inflammation, reduces stress, improve circulation. Here we go. Initial consult, treatment plan, restore balance. So how do I get started? What's the middle bit where the work happens, where the stuff happens? No need for a massive list about what goes on. Like, what's the process, and then what's the end result for them, for your customer? Right now, design, as you can see, forms a significant part of this, but we're just going to stick with messaging because the design goes into the messaging. They work together, but we'll do another webinar on design at some point. Cool. Web page structure. All right, I'm just going to make sure I covered everything there. And then everything else is what they call, everything else is what they call the junk drawer. All the other ideas that you've got is like, oh, I want to have this and want to have a story and all this stuff. Yes, cool, it is important, but you've got to really get the attention and interest of your ideal customer before you do anything else. So put everything else below until you nail this top bit. Awesome. All right. We're going to move on to the next bit in just a sec. Before we do, I'd love to know just one takeaway or question in the chat. Like, what's one thing you're like, oh, like, I think I can use that? Or one little question that you might have. Just pop that in the chat. while I have a bit of coffee. Go ahead, Linda. You've unmuted.
Oh, did I unmute?
Accidentally. No,
I was
like, all right,
trying to
let's
type,
go.
but I unmuted. But it is easier just to talk.
Go ahead. While you're here.
So for me, it's to kind of write and put the words together so it's how the customer benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So think from the customer's point of view.
Yeah.
Yep. What makes them go, oh yeah, this, I want this.
Yeah. So wants and frustrations, both are good. We are psychologically much more wired to avoid pain than we are to seek pleasure, which is a damn shame, but we might as well just lean into psychology.
Yep.
So away from frustration towards happy, towards future desired state.
Yep.
Cool. All right. We'll jump to the next bit. Oh, Ray. While above the fold is a print term, it matters more now than ever before. Getting that attention before they scroll is super important. Exactly. Yeah. And there, I've been kind of repeating the beginning parts of a framework that I'll share with you at the end of the call. But you may be familiar with AIDA: attention, interest, desire, action. It is a very old framework and it works still, and I think it will forever work because it is rooted in some of human psychology. So I've got one of the tabs is a resource that I'll share with you that goes into more detail on that, so you can use it. Excuse me. Next part, compelling headlines. The sky is falling. So as I just mentioned in the structure of a web page, like the headline is so important. It is, if you can't get the headline, it is 80% of the work getting attention. However, when you are building a web page, when you're building a sales page, even when you're writing an email to some extent, you do the headline last. Even though I'm saying it's the most important thing, and you're just like, oh, I got to get the headline right first. That's where a lot of people get stuck because they're trying to write the headline before they've got all the content or the bits together and the benefits. When you get the benefits together and you are thinking from the perspective of your customer and what's in it for them, when you're quite clear on that through the main part of your copy, writing the headline is so much easier. I have been coached by my good friend Brooke McCarthy on writing headlines and writing copy. She's a fantastic marketing coach based in Sydney, brookemccarthy.com and hustleandheart.com.au, because she says, like, hustle and heart, we want to have both. Like, I love that. Great messaging. So she teaches about writing lots of headlines. So we want to nail the headline first go, but write 10 headlines, write 20 headlines, because through that, you will hopefully nail or get very, very close with one of them. Cool. All right. Cool. So just coming back to the example I gave with Envato, what we did to test their messaging, we came up with some headline ideas, and it doesn't really matter what we think because we're internal. So in order to test that, we were able to create some Facebook ads with a headline, an image, and a little bit of copy, and just test clicks. So the first campaign, we just spent $200 and we were able to test 5 different headlines to see what people cared about. 1, we wanted clicks, and 2, we wanted people to actually opt in and say, yes, please tell me, notify me when this is available. Because the clicks didn't really matter. You could get, I don't know, you could get robots clicking, it could be people just not sure what they're doing. So we found specific headlines were more helpful than others, and what they ended up with, I'll just go back a couple of steps. Unlimited creative assets all in one place. So it wasn't that when I was working with them, it was something like build a stunning website in minutes, not months. It was something along those lines. And in order to validate that that was true, we wanted clicks and then opt-ins, and that's how it all started. So like $200 as the budget to be able to just validate our ideas for messaging. Cool. So getting attention is key. If you don't get attention, you're not going to get eyeballs and they're not going to click. A principle here is be clear before you're clever. So I'm just going to go over to our website at the moment. Is it clever? No, not at all. But what do we do and where are we? Probably website design, something to do with that, and you're probably somewhere in Melbourne. So it's just being really, really clear. If you have read our Marketing Monday or you look at the blog, we've done a case study on how in the last 3 months, less than 3 months, we've taken this page from, I think the top 22, position 22 to position 1 at the moment, but within the top 3 in Google. And the copywriting changes and the principles that we learned and that we applied to make this page rank. But being clear is more important than being clever. So we start with a very, very clear headline. What exactly is this? Website design Melbourne. Awesome. And then we can get a little bit more fancy. We want to say professional website design. And then we want to talk about what are we trying to do? We're trying to help you stand out, get found, and convert more business. Awesome. Great. So we want to have that above the fold. We're making some design changes. We're actually going to put a website design up here so it's very clear about what we do because it's just our website design that you can see. But the clarity is more important than the cleverness. So don't think like a journalist, think clarity first. Cool. So does anyone, and just by way of chat, does anyone listen to the Diary of a CEO? The podcast? No? Ray? It's like, yes, yes, yes. So yes, Nicole, you do? Awesome. So what I just mentioned there around the ads testing is something that Stephen, the host of the podcast, he mentioned that he does. And he was kind of said in passing on, I think a podcast episode was maybe a week or so old, kind of said in passing, is like, I don't understand why more people don't do this. He's like, I think he was saying he tested like 10 different versions of his book title just with ads, spent $200 to really nail what the new book title is going to be. Like, wow, so much better than trying to release and launch a book and then realizing that the book title was wrong. You don't want to wait till then. Cool. All right. Great. All right. Gonna move to the next bit. Cool. Features versus benefits. So thinking back to the example before about the e-bikes, features would be alloy rims, spokes on the wheels, and an ergonomic seat, for example. So to change a simple trick, I suppose, simple copywriting trick, to change features to benefits is to use the linking phrase, so you can. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a example in the chat here. So list anything that is a feature of what you do or anything at all. And while you're doing that, Apple, one of the most classic examples of this is Apple, when everyone else was talking on their MP3 music players about how much storage the music players had. So let's say it's 1 gigabyte of storage. It would be a competition between who had the most storage, like 1 gigabyte, 1.5, 2 gigabytes, like that just kept going up. And then Apple changed everything when they said, Apple iPod, 1,000 songs in your pocket. They're not talking about the storage anymore. It's talking about the benefit. Like you can have 1,000 songs in your pocket. Like that's so much more relatable to the buyer as opposed to the feature, which is the amount of storage. I have no idea how much storage does 1,000 songs. Definitely not these days. Cool. Let me know some features. Let me know in the chat. And we'll turn them into benefits. I'm going to say fast loading website. Okay. Merino wool. So your sweaters feel softer than ever. Merino wool. So you can knit without something, or so you can crochet without, what's something that happens with non-merino wool? Does it like fray Merino wool so you can stay warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Merino wool so it's moisture wicking, so no one notices you're a sweaty mess. So, Nicole, features. The feature of a massage, would be someone professional coming to your house is more like a feature. A back rub, I suppose, is more like a feature. So, massage company, NDIS clients, and allied health. So they're kind of like your target audience, which is okay. But a feature is like the stuff, like 60-minute massage is a feature. There's like 60-minute massage, so you feel fantastic. Professional massage therapists, so you know your loved one is in good hands. Right? That's the switch. What else would be another one? I love threes. The rule of three is fantastic, and I've got 2 examples, and we need one more for massage. I'll give you a turn at this one, Nicole. Let's pick another. A massage therapist bring their own table. How can we?
Yeah, so we bring everything to you. One of the key points I like to say is that we do the traveling for you. So like you don't have to worry about driving. Pretty much ruins the whole purpose of
Nailed it.
Yeah.
That was it. Keep
Yeah.
that short. Like we do the driving, so you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
the key points.
Feature, benefit.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope I'm on the right path. I'm just popping all this stuff that we do.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like repetition. Just keep doing reps of this. So
Yeah.
you can. Coffee mug. So you're not wearing your coffee. Like just anything. Like how can you make this beneficial? Like a collared shirt so you don't look like a hobo when you're doing webinars. Like what? Just think benefits, because that's how our psychology works. Like we're much more attracted to that than just bits of stuff. Don't see how it relates to benefiting my life. All right. Fully collapsible shopping cart. So you can take your cart everywhere with you. So you can pack it into your trunk and drive everywhere. So you don't have to worry about running into someone's car in the car park. So you can bring it home. So you know you're going to get a shopping cart every time. Fully collapsible shopping cart. So you never have to worry about forgetting your bag again. But you don't want to forget your shopping cart, that's for sure. What are the features of the shopping cart as well, Abby? Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got crates that are fully collapsible as well, so you can stack them however you like.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it in one. So you can stack them however you like. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but there you go.
Well, sure, I'll say yes.
More. What other features have we got?
I don't know.
Full collapsible, lightweight.
Yeah, they are lightweight. They've got 2 tiers. So
Lightweight. Lightweight. So you can. I'll let everyone else have a go at that. Lightweight, so you can. Chuck that in the chat if anyone's interested in putting some benefits in. And then did you say stackable? Is that the other one? Stackable. Yeah. So you can stackable, so you can store them easily. Stackable, so everyone in your family can have one. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah, you're saying it. Yeah, you're saying it right.
Ah, there you go. Awesome. Great. Cool. Thanks for jumping on. That's awesome. All right, we got some more in here. And something about comfort in your home, so you can fit more in the boot from the farmer's market. Right, that's solid. Now, Ray is speaking to a very particular persona there. That's great. Someone imagining themselves doing that. Lightweight, so it's easy to push. Exactly. So thinking about someone who's like, oh, like that shopping trolleys are a pain. You get the wiggly wheel and you've got to return the thing and it's just awkward and heavy. This one's easy to push.
Yeah. I love it.
Right. Yeah, that's gold. Ray says, so you can bring all the shopping in one trip and not have sore hands. Love it. Cool. All right. So this is about practice over and over again. Try not to think too much about nailing it first go. Those webinars about nailing your website, but I didn't say first go. It's about nailing it over time. Iteration versus perfection. Even with the example I gave with Envato, the messaging they have now is different from what worked when I was consulting with them. They're iterating over time based on the feedback they're getting from their market. And an important point here that I don't have a slide for as well is your business does not exist in isolation. When I say the word competitors, sometimes people are like, oh, like we don't have competitors, or it doesn't really apply to us, or they just don't want to look at their competitors. But everyone has options. Anyone who's buying anything, they've got options. And one of the options is to do absolutely nothing. A lot of us are competing against the status quo, which is just to exist and just keep doing exactly what you're doing. So sometimes that's our biggest competition, is just existing against that. So is your option better than doing absolutely nothing? Hopefully, because otherwise you wouldn't really exist. But looking at most 3 of your competitors and looking at their messaging. So at its most simple, if I'm looking at SGD and our website design Melbourne, I would Google website design Melbourne at its most simple, have a look at the messaging, because that's what our ideal customers, they're looking at competitors. Unless we know it's an absolute, like they've been referred to us and there's trust already there, then that's a different story. But your messaging doesn't exist in isolation. So that's why it does need to iterate and evolve over time. Because your competitors are saying something, you're saying something. How do you look side by side? So we can get into that in a future webinar or episode of Marketing Monday. But marketing does not exist in a vacuum. If there was no one else competing, it would be very easy to rank #1 on Google and grow your business because you would be the only one. But we are competing. We are in a marketplace. Cool. Features versus benefits. Next bit. Proven frameworks. I already mentioned to you AIDA. So we're going to get into that so you can actually see what this is all about. So the first one is so overall attention, interest, desire, action. Even if we come back to here, attention, be the leader of the pack. Now, design shows that it's bigger, so it's going to get attention better, which is great. So attention, interest. Even when I was reading this before, I obviously knew this was coming in the webinar, but revolutionary caught my attention in some way. Like it looks like a bike, like what's revolutionary? It says e-bikes. Okay, I guess it's an electric. That's interesting. Get on a revolutionary new bike. Attention, interest, desire. I mean, if I hate riding, it's not really going to help, but hopefully they've targeted the right person and I do ride. Action, find a dealer. Attention, interest, desire, action. And then they're repeating this. Life is too short to sit in traffic, and so on. They're repeating that framework over and over again. Attention, what words will spark curiosity about your company's service or product? Interest, persuasive, exciting content to get your audience to think, I like this. In some way, we don't want to answer all the questions. Getting everything out on a web page and being as detailed as possible and making sure everything's there is not what you want in the top section. Pique their interest and leave some open loops. And the way you do that is deleting a lot. Just having a headline and then a little bit of supporting text and a call to action. That's all you need. The rest of it can go much further below, even in FAQs. Desire, demonstrate the gap between where your audience is now and where they could be with your product or service. So if we're thinking about website design, we were actually working on some messaging just yesterday around this. A lot of people that we work with, like a lot of tech service companies, technology service companies, they work with SEO agencies and they get confusing reports and no one's there to help them understand these reports. So a desired end result is clarity around what part of your messaging is working. Go from confusion to empowered. So that's how we would speak to a desired end result for our SEO services. Action for us would be book a call. For some of our services, it is buy now. For many of you here, it would be buy now. Get in touch, but definitely not click here. If you have click here on any of your call to actions, we're coming for you and we're going to stop you because it's not going to help. So learn more is a little bit better, but click here is no good. You need to say specifically what's going to happen. Book a call, add to cart, buy now, find a dealer. Cool. All right, come back to proven frameworks. So there are quite a few different frameworks. This is one of the most powerful, the AIDA. So I'm going to leave you with that particular one. I love frameworks. I'm all about them. I have too many, but I just wanted to really focus on this particular one for you. There is a framework for writing blog posts as well. If you're interested in that, please feel free to send me an email and I can send you that one. But given the amount of time that we've got, I won't cover that just here. And because we're talking mainly about your sales page messaging. Cool. All right, pro tips and resources. So we're 3 minutes over at the moment, but I'm going to share a resource that you can go and use and explore. There's no like affiliate income or anything from this, but the book that I mentioned to you called Build a Story Brand, they have a tool. It's got a 7-day free trial. It's powered by AI. And I'm not on the page right now. Story Brand AI. Where are you? Story Brand AI. I'll briefly show you some of the details. So, create a campaign. Cool. All right. Here, what I want to know is I want to take some of these learnings that we've talked about today, and I just want a quick blueprint of maybe my website and overall what's important from my customer's point of view. So you can do this in maybe 15 minutes through this tool, and then you can just unsubscribe and never use it again. But the clarity and the ideas that can help you see your business from another perspective, I think would be absolutely invaluable. Of course, I just have my own business in here, so we're quickly going to just run through this. So the first thing you want to do in here is build what's called a brand script. It's based on the StoryBrand 7-part framework. So I'm going to share this with you. I will definitely have to zoom in because I'm sure it's tiny. Cool. So we have SGD, overall, the overall business, not a specific service, but overall. This is the controlling idea. Transform your online presence with expert web design and marketing solutions. Now, after asking a couple of questions, the AI, this system, ran it through the brand's story script and then actually came up with this idea. I could click a button here to revise this and it could come up with some more, but I'm just going to leave it as is because I want minimum moving parts for you so you can have a look at your business through another lens. I use the persona of technology businesses. So the character, who's our hero? What do they want? They're technology service businesses that want to stand out online. Given that I handle the majority of our sales calls, I know this to be true. They say this specifically to me. They have a problem. Poor website design and SEO. That's the external problem. Internally, they're frustrated by their inadequate online presence. They don't really want to talk about that, but because it's a bit shameful. Like, oh my God, like we're technology people. How can we not make this work? It's really frustrating. Philosophical, you shouldn't have to struggle with ineffective digital marketing. Like, come on, like it's 2025. You shouldn't have to struggle with this anymore. Meets a guide. Now that is ideally us. We understand how frustrating it is when your website doesn't perform well. We have so competency and authority, so showing our trust and experience. We have 15 years of experience and over 40 5-star reviews. We've launched over 320 websites as well. Now we give them a plan. So this is the 3-step framework I mentioned. So summarize your plan. Book a call with us. We'll create a tailored digital strategy, and then we'll launch a high-end website that attracts traffic. Cool. I'll leave it at that because I think that you should be getting an idea about how this could work for you and just to help see your business through another lens. So you can check out storybrand.ai. I'll chuck that in the chat. Even if you don't know what StoryBrand is, the main principle is that you are the guide and your customer is the hero. And your messaging will land so much better when you position your business as the guide and you're solving your customer's problem. The hero is not all triumphant. They are usually suffering significantly in movies and in books, any kind of story. They're not doing very well at the beginning. So you don't want to be the hero. You want to be the guide, like Yoda, that helps Luke Skywalker defeat the enemy. Darth Vader, Death Star, and all that stuff. Cool. So check that out. I think just through that exercise and headlines, features and benefits, it's going to change the way that you think about your website messaging. Cool. All right. Couple of key principles, and then I'll let you go. One, be clear before you're clever. It's very exciting to think in headlines and be like, oh, that's got alliteration and that's fancy. And like, Rand, I love that too, rhyming words. Like, that's so clever. But really, is it going to work, or we just think it's cute? Like, be really clear. Web design, Melbourne. Like, what is it? And your customer is a hero. Another key principle. No time for questions, but please feel free to email them over. More than happy to answer them in a future email or a future webinar. But I thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope this has been super valuable for you. We'd love to go deeper on any parts of web design, digital marketing that would be valuable for you. So we want to make sure that we're making the most of your time and our time together. I'd love to know, just by way of finishing this up, what's one thing, one takeaway? Feel free to unmute to let me know, like one thing of, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm going to apply this. Either let me know in the chat or unmute and just let me know one thing.
I like the customer's the hero, because I think in the business sense, we all, like, not every business, but we think we're the hero helping them, but they're the hero, and we're guiding them to the right place and guiding them to what they need and attracting them in that way. So yeah, I thought it was a really smart way of looking at it and kind of reversing the roles of what a business can do. So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, awesome. They're in the struggle state, and you're the vessel that transforms them into their desired end state. So speaking with empathy and speaking about their problems will help them be like, oh my God, wow, like, you know me so well. Obviously, you're going to help me transform to the desired end state.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really like that.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole.
It's okay.
And Linda, if you have any key takeaways, feel free to unmute. Or
I've got a list of notes here beside me.
That's good.
I think how does the customer benefit? Like, put myself in the shoes of the customer and what makes them feel good. Like,
Yeah, awesome. Just one pro tip to leave you with is you can ask them, like, getting their feedback and asking them. Like, surveys are one way to do it, but the easiest way is to ask them, email, phone calls, when you're speaking with them, asking them and then using that in your copy. Like, it seems a bit like a no-brainer, but I think we try to invent things in our mind, but we are not our customer. So when you ask them, they'll typically tell you. Awesome. Look at the reviews on Google. Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Thank you so much. Happy Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Any follow-up questions, feel free to let me know, and we'll see you on the next one.
Sorry, just to double check, are these AI notes getting sent to us as well, just for my colleagues? I think they'd like to read.
Yeah, absolutely. AI notes and the recording, you can skip through stuff and check it out, and we'll publish it on the website too.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much.
All right, pleasure. Cheers heaps for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.